I've done the live murder trial experience a lot of you all have been seeing around advertising here, and I did it in Leeds. Obviously it's been going all around the country, probably something on the BBC. Fucking fantastic, you know what, it was great. From someone who's been on trial before and found not guilty, it was done very, very realistic. That's one of the things I liked. I don't want to ruin anything for anyone, so I'm not going to tell you what it was like or everything too much, but it was really, really realistic. It was like a real trial. That's something I enjoyed. The barristers from the prosecution and the defence were amazing and also very, very realistic at the job. The judge was very good as well. The characters they had on giving witnesses on the stand were fantastic and delivered it well. Basically what you do, you're at a table with ideally 12 people and you deliberate between yourself. I had one problem, is they give you 15 minutes to deliberate and come to a verdict at the end. And if you're taking this game seriously, playing anything serious, 15 minutes is nowhere near enough time. You need at least half an hour, but truthfully you need longer. Some people have said that he's guilty and not guilty from the start. You've got to go in open-minded. You've got to be very aware of the situation. Like with all cases, the prosecution put their part first, so you hear the prosecution before you ever hear the defence, which is always worse. So the first bit, you're always going to think the person's guilty because you don't hear it unless the prosecution fuck up like they do sometimes, or it's quite clear he's not guilty. But yeah, it was fucking fantastic. I sat at a good table. The people around me were very, very good, so they were very engaging and enjoying the experience as well. So because of that, I was able to do a very realistic result on how we got it. We all disagreed pretty much, but it was a lot of fun. You know, my table was literally one vote difference on between guilty and not guilty, so that made it really, really interesting and good. What a lot of people forget is if you have any doubt, you must find the guy not guilty. I actually had a debate with one of the girls on the table because she goes, well, do you think he's, I said I have doubt, and she goes, well, are you 51% maybe that he's guilty? I said, well, yeah, maybe. And she goes, well, that means he's guilty. And I said, no, it doesn't. Would you put your child's life, would you say, hey, there's a 51% chance my child might live, I'll go with that route? You know, you look at other options. Would you say there's a 51% chance that Liverpool are going to win the league this year, so I put a fucking £1 million bet on? No, you wouldn't. So a 51%, imagine being found guilty on a crime because you're like, it's 50-50, but it might have been that you get life in prison. You know, that's mad. So you've got to play the game realistic, but it's a great one for people who like thinking and watching and that. And it literally felt like I was in a real courtroom. I was really engaged. You know, I really thought this guy had done these crimes or hadn't done these crimes. I really thought it was a real court case. It was really good. Definitely worth the money. Everyone there was fantastic. The staff were amazing. I'd say if there was anything overcharged, it was they call it top tier tea, and basically it's meant to be like a celebrity like food thing. And I paid I paid £75, so there's three of us, and I bought them food. Yeah, if I call it food, and we're talking about a sandwich. Well, there was 3 sandwiches, and honestly, if I put all 3 together, my penis would be larger than them. That was actually, I described it to my friends. I was like, whoa, you know, if I put all 3 sandwiches, so when you pay that kind of price, the nicest tasting sandwiches I've ever had, but you know, they're like the size of my pinky, so you know, you've got to be a bit on that. And then everything there was really nice food, but it's just the portion, you know. When I say, not just because I'm a big guy, but the portion, you know, I wouldn't feed my fucking cats the portion because they'd be like, Daddy, do you not love us anymore? There's no food here. You know, it's like a portion for a 2-year-old, and when you pay that kind of price. But they had amazing burgers outside, apparently. I didn't try one because I wasted my money on that. The burgers were only £8 fries or pizza, so for some people wanted to do that. But yeah, it was a great experience. Overall, definitely worth the money, guys.